Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I would like to talk to you about a topic which will help you to choose your gear for your job. And that would be 5 tips how to choose your best lens for your job. Now, like I said several times, and I have to say again, that lenses are much more important than camera bodies. And many photographers will not understand this, and they try to purchase the newest and the latest and greatest camera body, but in the same time they have some crappy lenses, and then after that they are wondering why their pictures are not as good as it should be. Well, the reason is because lenses are more important than camera bodies, to repeat myself. So in this short video I would like to give you 5 tips how to choose your lenses and for your job, obviously. And I will try to say these 5 tips in order of importance. So the first one will be the most important, and after that the second one is the second important, and so on and so on. So the first 3 is absolutely difficult to separate from each other, because I would say they are equally important, these first 3 tips. Now, first tip is the color skin tone rendering. Now, many lenses, they will have horrible skin tone rendering or color rendering, and that would be very, very important. And this is here I will tell you an example. This is a good example. I don't know if you heard, probably you heard about the famous Minolta color or the Fuji color. Now, that is a coating on the lenses which will make the lens different, because the color rendering of the lens would be different because of that coating. They apply that coating. Minolta used to use that, and Fuji uses now. So if you take a Fuji lens and you put on your camera, you know, it doesn't matter if it's not a Fuji camera. And the Minolta lens again, I used to use Minolta lens on Sony cameras. Or also I used on Fuji cameras. And if you put a Minolta lens on any camera, you will see that the color rendering is different, because the lens has a coating on it which creates a different color rendering. Now, color rendering is very important because of the skin tone. If you are a portrait photographer, skin tone is really important for you, because after that in post-processing it will save you a ton of job. Otherwise, you will have to work hours and hours to repair that skin tone. But if you buy a lens which is good in color rendering and skin tone, then that lens will save you a lot of extra job. Now, this is the first. The second is micro contrast, and this is very important. And I tell you why. Many people will say, oh, Zeiss lenses, they are excellent, they are the best lenses. It's true, they are the best lenses. What's the difference between a Zeiss lens and a normal lens, a Sigma lens or any kind of lens, Nikon, Canon, whatever? What's the difference? There are 2 main differences over there. And the first is color, again, and the second is micro contrast. Now, many times you can hear that they say, that Zeiss look. That Zeiss look, it means the picture has more micro contrast in it. That's why micro contrast is very important. If you have a raw photo editing software, a raw converter, or however you call it, if you have one which has access to micro contrast, like the IXO Photolab has, or like there are some other photo editing softwares which they have access to macro contrast, then the problem is not as big. But if you have a photo editing software which one doesn't have that, well, then you are kind of in trouble, because your photos will not look as good without micro contrast than with a little bit more micro contrast. Obviously, in some situations, and I have a video about the micro contrast and the importance of it. So if you want to see that, you have to search in my channel, or I will place a card up here so you can click on it. And in that video I explained that in some situations you don't need micro contrast in portraits, the example, or in some situations you need micro contrast in landscapes and other type of photography. In portraits, if you want to emphasize the example, an older person who has wrinkles, and you want to emphasize those wrinkles on the face and everything, you know, all the little details, then you need micro contrast. If you don't want to emphasize that, if you want to repair those wrinkles, then you don't need micro contrast at all. So it depends on the situation if you need it or not. But better to have it, and then you can take it out, because if you have to put it in, it's not as good. Okay, the third important thing is sharpness. And this is a very controversial topic again, because many photographers will argue about, oh, we don't need sharp lenses, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but most interestingly, those photographers who say, oh, we don't need sharpness, they usually use very sharp lenses and newer cameras. And I'm wondering why. And then they say, oh, yeah, but because of my job I have to use, but you don't really need it. BS. Look, everybody wants sharp photos. That's why we buy new cameras, that's why we buy new gear. We want the sharpest photo possible. I understand that sharpness will not increase the artistic value of the photo. Sharpness will not increase your composition, will not make your composition better. That's true. But still, you can have a greatly composed photo, and you can have a photo with great artistic value, but it's very mushy, it's very well, I won't say blurry, but it's kind of not clean, not sharp, you know, and that photo is not as good. So you need sharpness. Whatever they say, you know, some people, this is my opinion, you need sharpness. And sharpness is really important, because what sharpness you get with a lens, you cannot achieve that sharpness in post-processing. Many people will say, yes, I can add sharpness after that. It's not the same. Try it out. I tried several times. If you have a very sharp lens and you have a not so sharp lens, make the same photo with both lenses, put it in post-processing, add some sharpness to the other one, and you will see that it's not the same. And they can say whatever they want, that's the truth, and it's a fact. It will not be the same. If you have a sharp lens, it's better. So this is the third tip, the sharpness. The fourth tip is the build quality. Now, again, here is some controversy, you know, in the photography world, because many people will say, yeah, you will have to buy the expensive lens because they are built very, very good. It's true, but if you don't have money to spend, you can buy the other one as well. But watch the build quality to be good enough for your job. I mean by this, if the example you have a job outside, the lens must have a weather resistance, you know, splash proof, dust proof, whatever, otherwise it will be broken, you know. But the example, many people will say Sigma lenses, they are not as good as Nikon lenses. It's true, absolutely true. The build quality is not the same like a Nikon lens, but I buy a Sigma zoom for the half price of a Nikon lens. Now, the question is, the two Sigma zooms I buy will last as long as one Nikon? Obviously it will, if you don't drop it or whatever. So the question is, the build quality is good for your job or not? It means if you work outside, the lens must be dust proof, splash proof, weatherproof. If you work inside, you don't really care about that. The fifth tip would be the price, obviously. So if you want to purchase the best lens for your job, in my opinion, first look at the first 3 points. They are the most important, and then the build quality, and then the price. Obviously, if you don't have the money, then you have to put the price further at the top, you know, because you don't have money to purchase maybe the lens, which one you would. But I would suggest you to better wait and save up some money and buy the lens you want, and buy the lens which is best for your job, because the lenses are more important than anything in photography. And I tell you something, if you save up money and you will buy the right lens, you will thank me later. You will say, look, it was a great tip, because lenses will stay and camera bodies will come and go. So you will change your camera bodies, but the lenses you will have. and you don't have to change them. So I hope that this video was helpful to you guys. I hope that you liked it. I just wanted to tell you a fast 5 tips how to choose the best lens for your job. If you think that I left out something, please feel free and leave a comment down below. If you think that you can add something to this video, very well. I'm not the best photographer in the world. I learn as well. I would like to know your opinion, so please feel free and leave a comment down below. Let's have a conversation. And this is what I like in YouTube community, that we can have a conversation and we can learn from each other. And that's why it's useful. And that's why I opened up this channel, and that's why I do this channel. So we can learn from each other. So leave a comment down below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and share my videos. And other than that, I wish you a very nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.